Shemai, I'm Sarah Kostelig, a citizen of the native village of Yuzinki and Executive Director of the National Indian Child Welfare Association, or NICWA. NICWA is a national membership association of tribes, individuals, both native and non-native, and private organizations from across the United States and Canada dedicated to the well-being of American Indian and Alaska Native children and families. Together, our partners, board of directors, and staff work to protect Native children and keep them connected to their family, community, and culture. The Positive Indian Parenting curriculum that you're going to experience is designed to provide a brief, practical, and culturally specific training program for Indian parents. It's been widely used over the last 30 years across the US and Canada. The first goal of the curriculum is to help Indian parents explore the values and attitudes expressed in traditional Indian child-rearing practices, and then to apply those values to modern parenting skills. Since there is no one tradition among Indian people for child-rearing, several examples from numerous tribes are used. When we use the term traditional, we mean the old ways, ways that existed prior to white influence, prior to colonization. Because people understand the concept of traditional differently, we'll refer to these as old ways or historical ways. It is up to each individual using this material to tailor the old ways to fit their own community. There are some universal values, attitudes, or customs that may be expressed differently in local communities, which give the trainer a basis to build on. These universals include oral tradition, storytelling, the spiritual nature of child rearing, and the role of extended family. It is the assertion of this curriculum that valuable lessons are to be learned from the old ways and that Indian parents can find strength in cultural traditions. A second goal of the Positive Indian Parenting curriculum is to help parents develop positive and satisfying attitudes, values, and skills that have roots in their cultural heritage. Promoting the growth and well-being of Indian children through positive parenting, which is culturally inspired, is the underlying message to parents. The curriculum is intended for parent trainers and provides information on how to train, training issues, organizing training, and suggested content and structure for parent sessions. In addition, material for parents is available. The curriculum is designed so that even someone with little training experience could implement the program. However, a basic workshop for trainers can be very helpful. We hope that you find the information and suggestions in this training useful in your efforts to help Indian parents provide positive Indian parenting. There are 8 sessions in the curriculum, each with the same basic structure. For each session, there is an introduction providing rationale, an agenda and learning objectives. Background information for the trainer is provided for each session, as well as a list of suggested readings. The trainer will also want to get information on local traditions from elders or other resources. As you'll learn, the curriculum is flexible and it was developed with the intention that it can be modified to meet the needs of your community. That said, there are important aspects of the curriculum that need to be maintained in order to deliver it as the developers intended and to ensure that it has the best chance of having the desired outcomes on the parent, the child, and the parent-child relationship. The aspects of the curriculum that need to be maintained, that require fidelity, are discussed in each section.
I'll talk about the old ways, because we're going to spend a lot of time talking about what that means in this curriculum. Every new generation faces the job of parenting in a new environment, but some things stay the same. Even though we live in a new and different time, historically, generations to generation, parenting in American Indian and Alaska Native families was never left to chance. It may have varied tribe by tribe, but it was always aimed at ensuring that our culture and our ways were handed down generation to generation to ensure our existence into the future. And we are the very proof that that worked. Now, these old ways that we talk about may have been diminished by colonialism and by the dominant society around us, everything from boarding schools to the removal to cities. But they didn't go away. They couldn't extinguish them. Now, we can't go back 200 years to the old ways before there was white influence in this continent, but we can bring those values forward into today. And just a few of those to mention. Long ago, in many, many tribes, children were considered gifts of the Creator. And should they be mistreated, the Creator would take them back. We had loving, positive relationships between parents and children, and connectedness was one of the most important teachings. Connectedness to family, connectedness to relatives, connectedness to community, to culture, to tribe. These were all taught. One of the things that we learned about in doing this curriculum, that people learned to tell prophecies about children and how they would be related and valued by the tribe. And naming was done as a way to connect people with tribe and family. So our children were taught how to get along, how to thrive, how to cooperate, how to share, and how to show respect. The old ways taught nurturing, shared parenting, where no one person was responsible for everything, where relatives had roles, shared decision-making, shared discipline, shared teaching. Maybe uncle was disciplinarian. These ways can be very helpful today. Our life ways, our values, our ways of doing things was handed down in stories and legends and taught children proper behavior and problem solving, how to be a good observer. In these old ways, children were respected. We taught a spiritual view of existence, and we cared about the moral development of our children and families as ways to be healthy and balanced human beings. Now we can build these things today because we can reclaim them. They might have been taken from us in many of our families, but we have the right to reclaim them. This culture is about reclaiming the value of the old ways and bringing them into today. I hope you have a great time in that learning. Thank you very much.
The Indian philosophy is the foundation of a healthy culture. And we're looking at tradition. And when we talk about tradition, we're talking about the old ways. And this means before contact. And I know lots of times when people think of the old ways, we think of our parents or our grandparents, but we're actually going way, way back before there were the many influences that has contributed to what we face today. We had a model that is valid today as it was 500 years ago. Positive Indian parenting builds stronger children, and when you have stronger children, you have stronger communities. Positive Indian parenting recognizes in order to parent and give children what they need, parents need to be able to know what it is they need.
Okay. Well, hello again. I want to talk about the issues in parenting. We may come up that may come up in our training with parents in our communities. Most of these are just the norm of who comes to parent training. We might be working with single parents. It's important to remember that single parents may be just overwhelmed with the day-to-day care of the child. It can be tough to be doing parenting alone. It's a hard job, especially if you don't have the support of extended family or friends or people close around you. This training is actually an opportunity to get support and to learn about realistic expectations, how important it is to not have to be super parent all of the time. It's a chance for the single parent to be validated in how hard the work is. We might have teen parents come to our training. And it's the life of an adolescent is challenging enough all by itself, and to try to be parenting while you're trying to grow up yourself can be really complicated. So our young parents need to be heard. They need to be listened to. They need to be nurtured and to learn how to nurture. And becoming capable of balancing the responsibility of being a parent with the realistic expectation that they still have a lot of growing up to do. So this parent training is an opportunity to be affirmed and to be nurtured. Step parents bring many issues to our training. In our communities, blended families are the norm, and they can be very, very complicated with trying to establish a relationship with each other at the same time establishing a relationship with children. There can be a sense of competition that the step parent feels with the children. Resentment and rebellion may come simply because of this attempt to build the relationships. These issues don't go away ever. They simply reoccur every new developmental phase. And one of the things we can do is to help step parents understand that these issues come with the territory of step parenting, to give them realistic expectations, and to help the parents develop teamwork to get through these really difficult situations that can come with step parenting. Another set of issues comes when parents have special needs children. This is often the case when we have kids with fetal alcohol spectrum disorder, or with developmental disabilities or physical handicaps. These challenges can be extraordinary. And not only is it a hard job, but parents can feel fear or guilt, or they can simply feel exhausted with everything that needs to be done. So participating in a parent training, either individually or in the group, it can be an opportunity for support and learning advocacy. How do they get the needs of their children met? How do they engage the system? And it is always an important aspect of this kind of training opportunity to be validated, to know that you're a valuable human being and that has a tough job. Many of our families, many of our parents come from families where drugs and alcohol were an issue in their growing up. So these families may have to learn how, just what's normal, to learn how to trust. So often in alcoholic and addicted families, the family norms and rules are don't trust, don't need, don't feel, and don't talk about it. And these can be very difficult challenges for people when they're trying to learn parenting skills, learning how to listen, learning how to talk about feelings with their children. These are things we have to learn about. So parent education, parent training is an opportunity to learn and to practice something that maybe has never been part of life before. The same is true, the issues when parents have been abused themselves or neglected themselves as children. These families will be relearning a whole new way of being, overcoming trauma, learning about their triggers, learning to deal with the hurt and anger and the feelings of betrayal that may be part of having grown up in an abusive environment. It's important as parent trainers to remember how much energy this takes just to keep the feelings and the memories, the triggers under control, and the fear of parenting that can come when parents want to do something different but fear that they might not be able to do it differently. So it's an opportunity to develop trust in themselves, deciding what kind of parent they want to be, and it's an opportunity to get together with other people and learn about the struggles of all families are shared across the community, and that the values of our old ways can help bring about a change in parenting that can help sustain families. Thank you very much.
Teaching parents to parent historically was an informal one. You learned from your parents and your grandparents and role models and the people around you. It was just something that you observed and you learned. And because of our history and the interruption to that form of learning how to parent, the outcome has been that many of our parents are not sure how to parent. And they don't know that they have other choices because they haven't had the parenting. So this parenting training is not about shame or blame, but recognizing that historically there were things that have happened, and you're going to parent differently if you've been abused than for those who weren't abused. So whether that was boarding school or an unfortunate foster home or adoptive home, or your own biological parent, that you learned ways that were probably not the best choices, but it was all that they knew. So we cannot teach people to feel what they cannot feel. You can't teach it. But knowledge and skills are empty until the parent decides what kind of parent they want to be. And so for parents to nurture, they must first experience nurturance. And that's what we do in the parenting class. We nurture them. We role model nurturing for them. And part of the parent training is to overcome that anger and sadness that many of our parents feel. We can create an environment in which new attitudes and approaches can be developed. And we give them the opportunity to hear about what other choices through storytelling, through legend, through personal experiences. And by the end of the parent classes, we hope that they'll make the choice to be that traditional parent.
The section entitled Part 2, Parenting Curriculum, is arranged in a format that might be used as a lesson plan. There are 8 topic areas. Background reading is suggested to help the trainer prepare. A session outline is provided for each. Lectures, discussion questions, exercises, and parent handouts are provided. Each topic area is designed to be the subject of one 2 to 3 hour session, but could be adjusted to fit another schedule. The curriculum is designed to be delivered either in a group session or one-on-one with a parent, for example, in their home. It's important to schedule childcare during the sessions. Better yet, you can develop sessions for kids that deal with safety, feelings, social skills, or storytelling. In any event, make sure that parents do not have to worry about their children. It is suggested that each session end with a social time for informal visiting. In a group setting, snacks, a potluck, or some activity may be planned. After the first session, parents can plan these events themselves. It's also suggested that parents bring extended family members as resource people. You might also invite elders to come and participate as resource people. By doing this, you build support, enhance the traditional working of the extended family, and add valuable insights that elders have to share. It also helps keep you out of the role of the expert. The curriculum is not designed to make anyone an expert on Indian culture or traditional parenting. It simply offers examples of teachings gathered from experiences and personal stories of elders, consultants, and advisory committee members. Some of the material is based on written work, but for the most part, it's the result of the generosity of many people who willingly shared their knowledge of the old ways with the Northwest Indian Child Welfare Institute, as NICWA was originally founded. It is hoped that using these examples, the trainer can draw out what the traditions were or are in the parent's own tribe. We suggest that trainers be honest about their knowledge of the old ways and refer to what they present as what they've heard, read, or remember. No one needs to be an expert when so many have something to contribute. Remember, parents often know more than they think they know. The job of the trainer is to bring that knowledge out.